My name is Margje. I work a lot with Carola in Arnhem. I just moved my Icelandic horse to her place too. And you've seen the little boy walking around here, Max. He's my son. He has Wiedemann-Steiner syndrome, and that means he is also on the autism spectrum. So I'm an autism mom. Thinking about this Tribe Day, I thought of how I could maybe contribute something. And I thought of this, Omdenken. Om means around, and denken means thinking. And in English you say flip thinking. Because it's a technique as an autism parent you just grow into, because if you don't learn to do that, then you'll drown, or you'll keep butting your head against organizations and people, and maybe even your own family. In working with autism families, we encounter a lot of how do you call it? Skepticism, or people are going to say, yes, but, because, oh, it's all nice what you say, but yes, but, and then they, as we say in Dutch, they see all kinds of bears on the road, and you have to, like, slay the bears. There's this Dutch guy, and he invented this system, and I think it could be helpful for us to get people on board, not just the people we want to work for us, the volunteers, but also the parents or the teachers, or maybe the county you have to convey, because sometimes they or you have to get on your side. And sometimes it's good to have a system behind that. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So we're going to try and see how you can get people from the yes but stage to the yes and stage. There's just one yes but that I really like, and that is this one. And it's one we forget a lot. It says, yes, but what if it all works out? That's something people hardly think of. So this is one I really like. So I'm going to hang it up. Yesterday we hung stuff on people's clothes, but we got all hot and bothered, so we sat down, so that didn't work that well. So today I'm going to use the washing line. Yes, but what if it all works out? So that's a really nice one. Flip thinking is really, if you look at it from a more simple point of view, it's only 2 steps. First, there is the deconstructing. Thank you. Deconstructing, it is turning the problem into a fact. You take away what should be, and you're left with what is. For example, Max is almost 10. He should be able to write, but he can't. So I take away the should be. I'm left with Max can't write yet. Well, this is exactly what I meant about filming me doing a workshop. Okay. I'm quite accident prone. It's funny though, so I'm left with a child that is almost 10 years old, and he can't write. He can't physically hold the pencil in the right way, and well, recently he also lost the motivation to try. So, well, then you're even further away from home. So I was left with a child that can't write. That is what is. Luckily, there's also the constructing phase. What was that? The next phase is constructing, and that is the transforming existing facts into a new opportunity. So you start with a fact, and you can see what you can do with it. Max was really, really interested in letters, and even some reading, and he could point out all the letters, and he had this old keyboard that he was always playing with, like, I'm typing. So he was really interested in that. So we bought a special keyboard, more simplified, with big letters on it, and I gave it to his school, and they did, I don't know the English word for it, dictate, when someone says the words and you have to write them down. Oh, okay. And he wrote 26 words without any mistake. So we were like, oh, glory, hallelujah. So there was the answer. I let go of what should be. He should be able to write with a pencil. Why would he need a pencil? He can write with the keyboard. So, because it does make him more self-standig.
Self-containable?
Yeah, it makes him, it helps him in life. Yeah, independent, that's the word. Don't know why I didn't think of that. Makes him more independent, that he can not only read, but he can also write.
But the problem was that he couldn't hold his pencil, because...
No, for me the problem was he couldn't write.
But he can.
Yeah, yay! So it's not a problem anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so I took away the part that he should be able to write, or with a pencil. That was just a construct of my mind. That was the way he should do it. So that's one problem we tackled with thinking this.
But in his way he could do it, because you said he can do it with the computer.
Yeah, but
So
yeah.
he's able to do it.
Yeah, we found out this way. We found out, and we were like, yay! No more problem. Okay. So this is the really simple way to do it. But sometimes you need more depth in what you do. To tackle those problems, there are like 15 basic strategies, and they're divided into 4 basic attitudes. And those attitudes are love, work, battle, and play. So in a minute I'm going to use my phone for looking at my notes, because I'm used to doing this in Dutch and I need to look up stuff in English. So just so you know, I'm not checking my Facebook or anything. So if you look from the love point of view, there is acceptance, waiting, amplifying, and respect. Those are 4 strategies that we put into the love category. If you look at acceptance, it's basically just accepting what is. So we're back to this one. And you not only do it in a way that you take away what should be and you're left with what is, but you accept that that's where you're at. Because only when you know where you're at, you can see where you need to go. So That's the first way. That could be a strategy to tackle the problem. There's also waiting. Sometimes it's not just the right time yet to do it. So you just have to wait a little bit longer. I think, okay. And most of the times we do know what strategy to use. So I saw this one. You have to dare to trust your feelings about this, because this technique is about combining logic with intuition. Because you will know which strategy you will choose. I'll hang this up too. I like why they're so cool. Nice and big. I'll just put it here. If you use the amplifying strategy, then you're going to look for what's already working, and you're going to amplify that. You're going to add to what's already working, and you're going to let go of what's not working. If you work with people, so you don't have. Sometimes you have to tackle a problem on your own, in your own mind. If you work with people, people are almost prepared for anything if you talk to them, if you have to discuss things with them, except for being taken seriously and treated with respect. Sometimes it totally catches them off guard. If they want A, you give them A. If they want B, you give them B. And the things you think in your mind, like, yes, but you should do option A, it's not your problem. So it's about respect, and also about, well, what we call trusting the expert. If it's about someone else's situation, then they're probably the expert. We're also quiet. I'm used to people asking questions or saying stuff, so.
It was late last night.
That's true. That was really late. I already told Maurice when we came here, they stayed up late. I can tell you, they stayed up late. They always do. Well, these are the love strategies to engage into tackling something that might be a problem for you or for someone else. Okay. Sometimes love doesn't just cut it. So sometimes we need to work. So you have to put in some more work. Then we get to persevering. Well, it basically means don't give up. You don't give up. You keep trying. You know, when a kid has to start to learn how to walk after 50 times of falling down, they're not going to say like, oh, this walking thing, it's not for me. They just keep going and keep going and keep going until they're triumphant in whatever way. Also, Max, he didn't really start walking. He only sat up when he was 18 months by himself. So that was a big yay moment. But you could see he really wanted to explore his world, but he couldn't. So that's really frustrating. So we got him a walker. And at first it was this little contraption going behind him and carrying his pelvis and his body, and he would just go like that. He loved it. I would put him into the community hall in a big room, and he would just run with it. And we took away parts of it until on one day he went like that, like trying, and then we took it away, and at 29 months he walked. So yay, you can see him walk. He has his own special gait, but he walks. So that was also that was persevering. And also trying to think outside of the box, because you can put him on his feet and he falls over, and we might think, well, he might never walk. Well, yeah, you don't know. You never know.
We had the same experience just when Caroline started to walk, and we couldn't. She was the same. Didn't. Took her a long time to click how to do it. So we had the walker. We were told about a brush, so we were getting her to have the brush over her head and two people holding the brush. And so you walk down along with the brush and two people holding, and then after a while, people started to not keep the weight on the brush, we'll say the walkers. Then the brush became a hairbrush and only a bare touch from the people. And then the brush came without the people. And then she realised she didn't even have a brush. It became a straw, and then it became nothing. She realised that she could walk.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to put in little steps, and you have to be inventive. I also saw people using like two pencils or spoons with a child, and you let go of the spoons and they're walking with the spoons. So it's also a mental click, what you said. Yeah, and then she finds out, oh, I'm doing it. So great. We also use focusing. I'm just gonna check my notes if there's nothing I'm forgetting, because there's really methods behind it. Where is it? That's also about persevering to try to reach your goals in new ways. It's okay to keep your goal. I want Max to be able to write, to express himself in words, in written words. Well, not with a pencil, but with the keyboard. Yay. I want my child to learn how to walk, not by holding her hand and letting go, but using a brush and making it smaller, or using a walker. The focusing is a lot like the amplifying. You focus on what you want and not what you don't want. Because you know the story about the two wolves fighting inside a person's head, the good one and the bad one, and which one will win? It's the one you feed, because that one will get stronger. And if you focus on what you do want, then it's easier to reach your goal, because you're focused on where you need to go. I see it a lot in my singing lessons. People focus on, yes, but I don't want to sing off key, or I don't want to forget the words. No, we'll just focus on what you do want to, accomplish. Okay. That's an important one. In this strategy, you also think of what you want to accomplish. So you think of where you want to be in the end. And then you turn around and you look back to where you're at. And you think, okay, how did I get here? How can I get here? So it's more a top-down way of thinking. And our whole school systems and our way of thinking is really focused on bottom-up, like giving people all little bits of information, and then you have to think of what you can do with them. And of course, if you have a lot of little details, you can see a lot of little problems. But if you focus on where you want to be, then everything is right, and then all those little problems aren't even there. So that's one way to look at it. There's also the rethinking, and sometimes that's just looking at what kind of opportunities you have, and maybe you can think of all the things you could do around here, and then you can make up a problem with it, and then you already know the solution. So that's just a way to train your brain to do this thing all the time. I'm going to throw in something in between. Also some water, but... There's this inspirational quotes that just work really well with this, but also with what we do at Horseboy and Movement Method and the whole thing. And it's always nice to have these one-liners, especially when they rhyme with people. You say, when you let go of what should be, you open the door to what could be. So that's a nice one. Does anybody have any experience with this? I'm sure you have, but maybe you don't think of them right now, me putting you on the spot like that. Okay. So I'll just put this one here in between. Sometimes work isn't enough. And I've noticed that especially when you have to convince like big organizations that you have to go to battle. You really have to go like, okay, how am I going to get what I want, what I need for my child, for my family, for my organization, for the whole of mankind. So sometimes you have to go to battle, and we have another set of strategies. Again, you don't have to, or again, I didn't say that yet, you don't have to, repeat this in your mind and know all this by heart, because I'll just give you the URL and you can look it up, but it is a really good technique to use when you have to tackle problems, especially if you have to convince other people of your way of thinking or our way of thinking and acting. So sometimes we go to battle. The first strategy on the battleground is eliminating, and I don't mean eliminating the other person. You don't see it my way. Oh, no, it's talking back to me. No, you can't do that. That's not the way. You probably need that person. So, the first thing here on eliminating is you stop doing what doesn't work. You eliminate what doesn't work, and then you're left with space and time. And you can act upon all that space and time that you created. It's different from persevering, because sometimes you say, okay, I have to keep going. But then sometimes you just have to say, okay, this doesn't work. The pencil, it doesn't work. Out of the door. And we created space for the keyboard. So, then you also have importing. And that is a really important one. Because if you don't fight your enemy, you can make them your ally. That's like what Rupert said yesterday with the PATH people, the therapeutic riding. And instead of keep telling them, well, what we do is good too, and they're still like, wah! Like that, well, you make sure that they become your ally, because they do have connections and you do want to serve that population too. So that's a really important one. That takes some, what do you call it? Getting over your personal ego, yes. I think it will take some steps for some people. For some people, this is really easy. It's just, I want this, I can use them, and they can entice them. In collaborating, it's a lot like that, but you look more to what does your enemy want, and you look for similarities and you highlight the common interests, like serving all those people. That is the common interest. Safety, what Rupert said, is the common interest. So you're going to make sure you offer them that, and then they come. So you forget the conflicts and you just look at what's really working. And the last one is enticing. So you use the desire of the other and create new opportunities, and you just find out what they really want and you use it. You see if you can deliver. Sometimes it's really easy. Sometimes the county says, well, we can only give you the money if you write it down in these words. Well, yeah, then you just take these words and write down what you do, and then you still do what you did before, but you just use different words. Sometimes that works. These are the ones that you can really use your strategies in tackling the problem in your own mind or also with another person. There are more techniques in play, but that is more if you want to get better at doing this. So you can do role play or flaunting, role reversal, and disrupting. We do like to disrupt. That is what we do a lot at Horseboy. We do notice when we do the workshops, people hold back a lot. And I'm always the disrupting factor when Carola and I work together. So I'm the one that sees a really big muddy puddle, and I take a giant leap and I just land all full in it and mud in my face. And so that's a disrupting thing. Like, you thought it might be a problem. Well, to me it isn't. And you have fun while doing it. So disrupting is fun. Flaunting is also fun. It's taking what you don't like about yourself or about the situation, and you exaggerate it and you use it. Like my chaotic way of presenting stuff. I'm quite structured right now, but my chaotic way. But it's also in our workshops the parts where people start to giggle or laugh, and that's the moment when you have the oxytocin and stuff really sticks. So I'm a bit of a clown sometimes. I might look real serious right now, but in role reversal, you just kind of mirror what the other person is doing or saying, and you can, as a practice technique, you can really exaggerate that. And sometimes people will realize how small the real problem is, or that the problem they think is there is not really a problem, because if you exaggerate it and not really make fun of it, but make fun with it, then it might see as it might not be a problem at all. So, but these are these are the techniques to practice. And of course, in the end, the flipping, just reversing what we do. Like, if a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. Not maybe, of course we should, because that's the only way. Because it's just, when you get back to the logic part, it's just silly to keep doing stuff that doesn't work. It's not logical, it's not practical. So What I really wanted to do right now, yesterday we had a lot of people presenting stuff they had worked with or worked against. So I wanted to ask you if you know any situations where you could, where you already did this, or a situation you think, well, this might help me convince these and these people, or if you might have another nice inspirational quote or anything, so we can add to this for the next workshop. So that is my question to you right now.
You're all so quiet.
It was really late.
Well, okay, it's nice that it's my problem now that you made me.
Is it a problem or an opportunity? Is it a problem or an opportunity?
Well, it's an opportunity to go, okay, this was it. Break! No.
Caitlin, can I use an example of you? For the red one, the last one?
For her daughter?
Okay. So, for the last quote, if a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way they learn. I know Caitlin learns best on the move. So she had to study, well, French in particularly, and it was really hard. And she tried very hard, and I know a whole bunch of techniques of learning words, because I used to be a teacher. And I tried them all, we tried them all, and she did her very best. It still didn't work. And I was like, okay, she needs to be moving. So then we put her on a balance board, and then we studied the words together, and then the words did sink into her brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, if it doesn't work, you need to change it, because you can't just say, just study harder. No, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you need to change your strategy.
Yeah. So you take away what doesn't work, and you make room for something like the balance board.
Yeah, but you need to be able to be good enough to do that. So for example, yeah, because I have
it all works out.
an example from quite long ago when I was in high school, about 15, 20 years ago. I was really bad in maths. And I said to my teacher, I don't understand it. I want to learn, but I don't understand it. And then she would explain it in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Said, I still don't understand it. Yeah, then you're just stupid. I said, no, you need to find another way to tell me how to do it. And then she got really angry with me and sent me out of the classroom.
Because you called her stupid.
No, she called me stupid.
Okay. But you probably pulled a face making how you were stupid.
Yeah,
And you were right.
Then she said to me, she first said, yeah, you should go to your other student and maybe he can explain it to you because he's really good in math. I said, but you're the teacher, so you're supposed to teach me and not like another child. Oh, you're so rude to me, you have to leave now. So I went to the principal and he actually started laughing that this woman sent me out of class because I was always really, normal and never problems. So he said, what in the hell did you do?
How did you get expelled?
He was really like, this is impossible. I said, no, she's impossible. And then he said, yeah, but you have to, she's not really blah, 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 blah. And he came
So
with
you don't have to be the smarter one about the situation.
And that's really strange because, I was like, I understand his point of view, but I just found it really stupid that the teacher couldn't explain it in a way to me that I understood.
Did you pass your math?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I had an A for Spanish.
So you didn't actually pass your math, you had compensation. Oh.
You
graduated from high school.
You have to turn the problem into a fact. You take away.
Yeah. I would have wished a better teacher for you.
Yeah.
Because there are ways to learn math.
Yeah,
For
I
people
know.
who don't naturally come. I love math. they always use math as an example. Like what gives people stress for me is like, oh, everything is so nice and logical. If you take 1 and 1 is 2 and you accept that fact, then everything comes together. But that's just the way my brain works. I had a really hard time explaining math to someone else because it came so natural to me. So that's probably what worked for your, what happened to your teacher. But yeah, we do encounter people who are like that, like, oh, the problem is yours. And you know what?
But it wasn't my problem.
In the end, it was your problem.
Yeah.
She should have helped you, but she should have helped you. Yeah, like you take away what should be. She wasn't going to help you.
No.
So you compensated it by being really good at Spanish.
After that, she was away for half a year because she had a burnout. I think I might have cost.
I hope she moved a lot and came back healthier and smarter about teaching her students. Yeah. You know, kids are really good at this. You have these quotes of kids that say, you know, I think the tests are really for the teacher to find out what she has to explain better the next time. Well, that's the way it should be. That's not usually the way most teachers look at tests, but it is how they should look at it. That's what we do. Like you do the drop it, do it, and confirm it. And when it doesn't get confirmed, you go back to the do it part, and you just make sure they're even more exposed to the situation. And you also we do a lot of that. Acceptance, what is, and we wait a lot and we amplify what works, and we also respect what the child wants. So that is in working with the little kids, we do a lot of that. Sometimes we do well, go more to the persevering or the like using the right pressure. Okay, this is the moment we just push a little bit more and it's okay.
I'm not so good in English. Can you say me the word amplify?
To make bigger.
Ist verstärken.
Verstärken, ja.
Verstärken. Amplifier ist ein Verstärker für Musik.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, kids, I think you can learn a lot from kids this way. And that's maybe when I said in kids in general, but usually even more so the special kids or the kids like Max. I view the world through his eyes a lot of times, and that makes me happy to wait for the train that passes by because he just loves it. He goes, he's ecstatic when he sees a train pass, and even when he's not in my car, I can still enjoy the situation because he would have loved that. So that's, you can also be frustrated about the fact that you have to wait and you're maybe in a hurry, but that doesn't make the train go any faster or the, what do you call the booms go up any faster. So I think if you look at the children we work with, you can learn a lot from them how to tackle the grown-up problems we have to face to help them. So maybe that could be a nice conclusion.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.